Obviously, directly, we're here today to deal with the Baltovich matter that you're aware of.
But dealing with me, and it comes down to credibility.
Well, it comes down to credibility. Absolutely it does, and that's what we're here to talk about today. And so let's deal with that, and then we can deal with the other stuff afterwards. Is that okay?
Well, yeah, go ahead. I'm just making my point on it because it's going to have to be addressed sometime.
Absolutely it will.
So, and it should have been. We dealt with that a year and a bit ago. So.
Yeah.
Well, not quite a year actually.
A little over a year ago. I have some questions that were given to me to ask you in relation to the Baltovich matter, Robert Baltovich matter. Before we do that, I just want to say you understand obviously the importance of telling the truth and the consequences potentially of someone who lies to the police and not telling the truth.
I think we just covered that. Actually, I was referring, you guys tell the truth.
Right. Okay, so we're aware of that. And in this matter, I believe that you've had some conversation with your counsel in regards to it. And there has been some discussion about polygraph testing in this matter. Is that true or not true? Or do you recall that?
Well, you're opening up cans of worms everywhere.
I'm just asking you a specific question.
You know, that goes back to you guys polygraphed everyone with the Camaro. You didn't polygraph Carla. And in 2 years since, have you guys gone down there and asked her? Have you settled the matter with it? Because you could say I lied or whatever on polygraph, but have you asked her? Because it comes down to a lot of that issue.
Okay.
You know, I mean, have you asked her? Has the Attorney General gone down there?
Okay, I don't know. Let me tell you a little bit. My involvement with this overall investigation of the Baltovich is very limited. The only knowledge that I have is as to what investigation has been done or hasn't been done is specifically what's related to the conversations I've had about this interview here today.
Right.
Okay. What other witnesses there are, I don't know.
Okay. In
what
answer
other
to,
persons
in
there
answer
are.
to your question, I don't want to go off on tangents, but all these issues are relevant. I know you think they aren't, but they are. In answer to your question is we had some discussion on it, but when Corcoran from the OPP came down before Carla was released,
right.
I told him I'd be willing to take a polygraph on anything and everything. Would you, in turn, are you going to go down before you release Carla? Just to ask her. She's not going to take it. She's going to fail on all these issues. Did her hand cause death? Yes, it did. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Did this Tammy happen in July? Was a girl in January actually kidnapped and not somebody I picked up at a bar that she tried to roll over? And all these other issues. All relevant. All relevant. So, and then I addressed it to you guys when you came back again. Last year I said, yeah, I'll take a polygraph on anything because I'm not telling a lie on the thing. Again, I asked the question, have you guys gone down or, I know Carla's free now. I'm not in the business of putting her in jail. It's not my thing. But my point was, did you ask her the question? Just so we get the story straight. I mean, if she refuses, well, there's a reason why she's refusing. And again, you guys couldn't provide the answer. And now, almost a year later, again, you don't provide the answer. So, I mean, I don't know what you're asking me. You're asking me to take a polygraph when you aren't willing to ask her?
Well, again, my part of this investigation is limited to what we're saying here today. So the details of all of what other witnesses may or may not have been asked or done, I don't know. And as a potential witness, I'm not allowed to tell you what other people have done. So that I have to sort of be careful about the way that it's answered, or even what you think my answer might be.
Yeah, no, I just wanted for the record that I gave you good information, which you guys could have, independent of me, could have verified my story or not. Right. And whether you guys do or do not is your business. Like I said, I'm not a prosecutor. Right. I'm not here to point the finger at anyone. But I showed you where to go. So if you guys don't do that, it's your business. But, to me, it's like, if you didn't, why didn't you? If you want to know the truth about things.
Right.
So
I understand that. And I understand what you're saying. So what we're here to talk about today, obviously know that this statement may be used in court or may be presented to court as a voluntary statement.
Yeah.
Okay. A polygraph obviously is not something that's court admissible, and I'm not sure if you're aware of that or not, but it's not used in court. Okay. So the crust of what we're here to talk about is that it has been suggested that in the continuing case of the disappearance of Elizabeth Bain and the charge of murder against Robert Baltovich, that you are the alternative suspect, or an alternative suspect. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, great.
Did you kill Elizabeth Bain on June the 19th, 1990?
Well, it's a loaded question. I mean, are we gonna go back and go through the time sequence of what happened in my life? I mean, I could just give a yes or no answer, but, you know, there's a lot of issues about that.
Right.
You know, Carlos and my role, who did what, where, when. This is why I said, did you guys, you know, go down there to get a polygraph to see if she was telling the truth? Like, why didn't Bevan do it in the first place? I mean, he's polygraphing everyone with a Camaro. Why would he make a deal with someone and not give them a polygraph? It's not incomprehensible to me. You know, because now my file says her version, and it's a lie. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not making frivolous points here. I mean, and now you're asking me, after you said Peel Regional said I'm lying about this, and then you're saying I'm lying about my profile, you're saying I'm lying if I'm better or not. Now you're saying, hey, did you kill this person? I mean, well, you're saying I'm lying here, here, and here. I could say, no, I didn't. But, I mean, you already said I'm lying here with the Peel. You're saying...
Okay, I'm not saying anything about who's lying. I'm simply...
and I've given you directions to go to find the truth.
Right.
No one's done that.
And I've asked, and again, I've told you that I've done the investigation on information that you've told me, and as a result of that information, I've been able to verify in my mind where you've told me the truth. So if Peel Region is lying about you or someone else is lying about you, I have no control over that, or no...
It goes right to credibility.
Well, absolutely it does, and that's, I guess, the easy way then is to, if we can go through, we'll answer the questions, and yes, I hope to be able to go through some timeline to identify where you were, what you were doing specifically in relation to this case.
Anyways, I know I'm giving you guys a hard time being argumentative about certain things, but I mean, really, I'm a human being, and when you guys do all these things, I've got to. Anyways, I'll try and truncate it a little bit more. But anyways, the answer to that is no. But the 800-pound gorilla in the room that's a life 25 sentence. You know, it really comes down to credibility,
right.
and not only credibility, but then again, timeline. I mean, between what Carlos and my roles were respectively, and this and that. The answer is no to that question.
Did you have anything to do with her disappearance?
No.
Did you know Elizabeth Bain?
Not that I know of.
Had you ever met her?
I'm going to answer that with I don't remember, because if I did or I didn't, I don't remember. But I know an ex-girlfriend tried to say I might have, but I got to say I don't remember.
You obviously are aware of her disappearance?
Sort of.
Do you recall when you became aware of this?
Best I can recollect is after I was in jail. Didn't follow me as much.
The date, obviously, June the 19th, 1990 was the day.
But you know, other than that, I don't remember. You know, maybe I heard about it before, but I can't recall if I did or not. But I remember in jail, I had newspapers after that fact, and then I saw something on it. So.
Okay. We'll sort of get into that a little bit when we. I hope to go through a bit of a timeline with you as to some things that may jog your memory as to.
We're talking
back in that time. I mean, if you asked me what I was doing 3 weeks ago on Tuesday, I probably couldn't tell you unless you put some reference to it. So we'll hopefully be able to do that. And again, obviously, June the 19th, 1990, do you know what you were doing that day?
I don't know.
I have a document here in front of me that references some points in time around the June of 1990 period from police investigation. This is what indicates you may have been involved with, or may have certain things that you may have done. And I'd like to go through a couple of them that sort of assist you in remembering what you were doing back in 1990. The first part of June 1990, actually June the 1st, Carla had a doctor's appointment where she was complaining of pains in her right side. Perhaps she had something to do with a rabies shot. Does that ring any bells?
No, no, no.
In the first part of June, you had a Nissan 240 SX, is that correct?
Yeah.
You were making several trips into the United States June 2nd, June 3rd, June 10th, June 16th. I think at that point you were involved with cigarette smuggling and things like that, from what I recall. Someone said no?
No, that wouldn't be, no, that wasn't until after we moved out, so.
Okay. So, making several trips to the States within a couple of days, is that something?
When we started the relationship, we were going over all the time, so, just for personal reasons. So.
Okay. On June the 16th, you shopped at Rough Hewen. That's in the Niagara Falls, United States. Does that store sound familiar to you?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I have no idea if those are the dates, but
Okay.
you got a receipt for it.
I think there must be a receipt there. And again, I don't have all the details, I'm just going by what's on this sheet of paper. A black expandable binder, is that?
I think, can't recall 100%, but.
Okay. That would have been around the same time. That was about a week prior to if you purchased one of those Elizabeth Bain going.
I have no idea when I purchased it. I just recall I had something like that, like an accordion binder.
Okay. June the 16th, again, this has been the same day in St. Catharines, you attended a movie, Back to the Future 3. Do you recall when that movie came out?
No idea.
No. There's a receipt for a cell phone purchased at a Radio Shack at the Town and Country Mall at 6366 Yonge Street. You remember buying a cell phone?
I know I bought a cell phone around that time because when I declared bankruptcy, I handed my other one in, and then I bought the Radio Shack one. I don't know the dates.
Okay.
Whatever the
That
date
would
is.
have been the day after Elizabeth Bain went missing. Is that, do you remember anything you were involved with around that time? You say you were going bankrupt, so what type of activity you were involved in sort of on a day-to-day basis?
The only thing I remember with bankruptcy is that happened around a couple days before the sexual assault that the composite came up with. That was, if I recollect correctly, it was I think 2 days before I filed for that. But I couldn't even tell you that date. I just know it was sometime in. What date did you say that was? June
June the 16th of 1990.
When was that sexual assault? The one with the composite? Was it 24th, 20th, somewhere? What date did you guys have?
There was a sexual assault in May of 1990.
Is that the composite one in May?
I'm thinking that it is, but it doesn't say that specifically here. But shortly after that,
My timeline's off. I don't know.
at the end of June of 1990, that was the original, when someone identified you potentially as a Scarborough rapist, a bank employee.
When was that? The end of?
That was June the 28th of 1990. Lori Homolka's 19th birthday was June the 22nd, 1990. Do you recall her 19th birthday?
No. I know it was around that time, but I don't specifically recall that birthday.
June the 21st, so just the day after you bought a cell phone, you made a purchase at
I'm sorry, you were saying what, 19th was this girl's?
June 19th was the day she
Yeah,
went missing.
what day did I buy that?
June 20th was the day you bought a cell phone. June
No,
21st.
see, I must have declared bankruptcy around then because I got that cell phone in the hand. I had to hand all my items in to the trustee, and I had a Panasonic cell phone, and I handed that in, and I got the Radio Shack one. So it would have been right around the same time. I don't think I went a month without it. I don't think so. I might have, but anyways, I don't know. It was a while ago, so memory's a bit fuzzy.
Yeah.